Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Facing the Pain. I'm Jeremy Lambert, and today we're going to review UFC on Fox and preview whatever this Fight Night card is they have coming up, and preview the Super Bowl. With me, as always, my broadcast partner, Sam or Kadi.
You finally got on hold of the intro. I'm impressed.
I did pretty good. I was very nervous about it, even though I do it every week. But last week it took me 3 tries, and I still got it wrong.
Well, you're just like Mike Goldberg, except I don't think he got nervous. He just resigned to the fact that he would probably screw up, and he just did it.
Very possible. Let's do this UFC on Fox card. I'm super excited for this podcast, by the way, if you couldn't tell.
Nobody can tell. And I know you're being sarcastic, but nobody can tell.
Valentina Shevchenko defeated Juliana Pena by armbar. It was a fight. It happened.
I told you that would happen. I told you she would beat her easily.
She did. She easily won the first round. Pena's game plan was to essentially clinch and just give her no room. And it worked until Shevchenko proved she can kind of hold her own on the ground. And, Shevchenko against Amanda Nunes is a pretty good fight, actually.
Well, Juliana Pena shouldn't be disappointed because even Michael Jordan missed shots.
Okay.
I'm guessing you did not you did not read that, did you?
Was that the great Dion Waiters saying that?
Nope. That was Juliana Pena saying that on her loss. She's like, Michael Jordan missed shots.
Yeah, I mean, sure. He missed 1 per game at least.
Therefore, Juliana Pena is the Michael Jordan of MMA, inheriting the great Travis Lutter.
And Juliana Pena probably... No, that's not true. How much
we wouldn't know because you didn't say it.
How much did Jordan get per game? I was going to make all that for one night's work.
I'm pretty sure Jordan got more per night than she did.
Yeah, I'm fairly positive.
I would actually think way more. When you factor in endorsements and everything. Dude, Jordan definitely made more a night than Juliana Pena. I mean, he wasn't getting paid on a nightly basis, but if you do the averages, he surely made more per game than she did.
How much do you think Juliana Pena made in her last fight? This fight, the purses have not been disclosed, so we'll use her last fight.
31,000.
Total, or is that the 31 and 31?
Oh, she won?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I would say 31 to show up, and then,
Good call, 32 and 32.
Wow. I'm really good with these without cheating.
I'm still not 100% convinced that you're not cheating.
How the fuck would I do that? How would I even go about that?
Juliana Pena made... This is UFC 200. She fought on UFC 200. Juliana Pena made 32 and 32. And you're going to know kind of what the number is just based on my reaction. TJ Dillashaw was also on this card. Former bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw. Pay-per-view headliner, possibly. Definitely a Fox headliner. How much do you think Dillashaw made to show and win?
Uh, 27?
25 and 25.
Oh, close. By the way, just for comparison's sake, in the 97-98 season, Michael Jordan made $33.1 million.
Okay. Divide that by 82.
Yep. That is way more than $60,000, just so we're clear.
Dillashaw made 100 and 100 in his last fight, but for some reason he only made 25 and 25 at UFC 200. These paychecks are weird.
Michael Jordan was making $404,000 a night.
So 200 to show up and 200 to win.
I mean, yeah, sure. But even if we lost, he still got the money. In fairness, he rarely lost. Although even Michael Jordan missed shots. So that's a very apt comparison by Juliana Pena. I think in the history of sport, nobody thought these two would be mentioned in the same sentence together.
Wouldn't it just be wouldn't that be comparable to, like, missing your strike? That should be Leonard Garcia's quote.
Sorry.
Bless him.
Thank you. Leonard Garcia, even Michael Jordan missed shots?
Yeah, because
Leonard Garcia should probably draw a comparison to Russell Westbrook, given the efficiency, not Michael Jordan.
That's fair.
Just like Russell Westbrook, he padded his stats with the judges and won. But
I wish there was judging in the
ultimately-
NBA. OKC would win more games, probably.
Probably. But it still didn't win enough games, which again would apply to Russell Westbrook. Leonard Garcia is the Russell Westbrook of MMA.
Are you thundering up tonight against the Spurs?
If Enes Kanter was honestly throughout this whole season, yeah, you're right. Throughout this whole season, that was the game I was looking forward to the most, and I talked myself into believing the Thunder would actually have a chance. Because remember, the Thunder beat the Spurs once when Durant was out on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it was Christmas Day. Yeah.
It was just Westbrook and Ibaka doing work.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, okay, obviously this is a different Spurs teams and whatever, team, rather. But I remember, like, Westbrook was always the problem for the Spurs, for the most part, because they can't guard
Westbrook. It was always the Westbrook and Ibaka pick and pop.
Right. But now they have, like, if you add in Kanter and Adams, like, the Spurs, shockingly, like, their bigs won't be able to they weren't able to handle them last year in the playoffs. So I'm not saying, like, the Thunder would have won, but that's, like, a competitive game. I also thought it would have been competitive, and I thought Kanter and Adams would do damage together. Kanter did damage to himself.
Yeah.
And a chair, I guess.
He got his forearm to block the... He should have just taken the steel chair shot to the head. Don't get your arms up to protect yourself. Let that be a lesson.
The NBA screwed over OKC with the no chair shot to the head thing. He would have gotten a concussion, and just like Steven Adams would have missed a couple of games and just came back. Now he's out for 8 weeks. So clearly shots to the head are easier than protecting yourself. That's the moral of the story.
I like this theory. Let's run with it.
Of course. What were we talking about?
Juliana Pena losing and missing shots.
Just like Michael Jordan.
That's right. Shevchenko and
Juliana
Nunes...
Pena should remake that commercial. You know, Jordan's commercial where he's counting the amount of shots he's missed, the amount of game winners he's missed, and in the end he goes, and that is why I succeed. Have you never seen that commercial?
I'm sure I've seen it. I don't remember it.
It's like Jordan in his prime, probably during the Bulls' first three-peat. I want to say it's during the Bulls' first three-peat, and he goes, like, 31 times I've been trusted to make the game-winning shots, and I failed. I have missed, let's say, like, I don't know, 1,200 whatever many shots. And he just like continues to name his shortcomings, and in the end he goes, and that is why I succeed. So Juliana Pena should do that.
Sure. Maybe
I think Nike would make a killing. Or Reebok, rather.
Yeah, Reebok.
Sorry, Reebok would make a killing.
Nike probably would make a killing because they'd see this Reebok commercial and everybody would switch to Nike.
Or they can sue them. And then they would make a killing.
Could they sue them for that? Like,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Would they care enough to sue them?
Yes. Dude, are you familiar with the corporate greed?
Yeah, I guess so, but it just seems like a giant waste of time.
A lot of money.
I'm sure it is a lot of money. It's also a waste of time.
Lawyers gotta work, man.
Jorge Masvidal defeated Donald Cerrone twice.
So we heap praise on Donald Cerrone at a welterweight, and he goes back to being Donald Cerrone, the same Donald Cerrone that would like weirdly get his ass kicked in some fights. I guess he's always going to be the same guy. Like occasionally he'll lose a fight and he looks pretty bad doing it, then he'll win a bunch of others. Although the older he gets, the more difficult this is going to be.
He got hit with a lot of body shots. He got knocked out at the end of the first round.
And Herb Dean waved it off.
So much incompetence in a minute.
Best referee in the business.
Herb Dean steps in before the horn sounds to call off the fight, and then he hears the horn and just decides, no, he's good. Let him come out for the second round.
If he gets knocked out again, I mean, another concussion, how bad that's going to be. Like, what's another concussion really in a career of concussions?
Greg Jackson, for some reason, doesn't stop this fight, and I know his stupid policy, it's retarded.
It really is. I hate using that term, but it's at worst incredibly negligent and irresponsible. It is. They need to stop with that shit.
If you can tell your fighter, like, it's one thing if your guy just gets beat up in the round. Like, take the BJ Penn fight, for example. He got beat up. There's no way he should have come out there for the second round. But he wasn't knocked out like Donald Cerrone. Cerrone was legitimately out of this fight and got woken back up with another punch. And what is the end game to putting it back out there? You think he's going to come back and win? Like, I just don't see... I don't get it.
I wouldn't absolve Greg Jackson of responsibility in any way. But I can almost understand this more than the BJ Penn one. Even though Cerrone was hurt worse in this one than BJ Penn was after round one, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Just for the record, I don't agree with Greg Jackson allowing Cerrone to step in for the second round at all. But I'm just saying, I can almost understand if he went like, okay, this is Donald Cerrone, he's tough as nails. Like, maybe he can fight this fight on fumes and somehow, like, do enough damage, just like on pure instinct, inflict enough damage and somehow win this fight.
No, you're wrong.
No. I'm saying, let me put it that way. Even after getting knocked out in the first round, I think there was a better chance for Donald Cerrone to win that fight than there was for BJ Penn to win his fight.
I think they were both less than zero.
Exactly. One was just more negative than the other, but ultimately it doesn't matter because both were pretty slim to none. And even if there was a chance, it is not ultimately worth the risk. Maybe in a title fight, maybe. But in a fight like that, where seriously, what are the odds that somebody just gets legit knocked out and wins the fight? I guess Michael Bisping would tell you otherwise. But, I mean, to be fair, like Michael Bisping against Anderson after that knee, was he hurt as bad as Cerrone was?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Bisping was
Anderson
hurt.
really let him off the hook after that. There's that as well.
Yeah, Bisping was obviously hurt, and there was like 5 minutes between rounds as they calmed Anderson down, and like Bisping actually had a fair amount of time to recover.
I mean, you don't. I know what you mean. Even so, let's say Bisping was just hurt beyond belief and still somehow won that fight. That one example should not be used as an indicator of any. So, yeah, it's just gross incompetence all around, honestly. And I love Greg Jackson. I think he's by far the best trainer in the game. And more importantly, by far the best cornerman in the game in terms of advice. But it's almost hard to call somebody the best cornerman in the game when he's allowing you to get killed out there.
Yeah, and Herb Dean, best in the business. Just
best in the business. A great night for the best in the business. Greg Jackson, best cornerman in the business. Herb Dean, best ref in the business. And they all showed why that is the case.
Strong win.
His reputation is just bullshit, by the way. That's just like Dana White once said it a lot. Not just once. He just repeated it a lot, and his reputation stuck. And in fairness, I don't even know who the best MMA referee is.
There's not
but Herb
one.
Dean, exactly. And Herb Dean has screwed up way too many times for that moniker to hold any weight whatsoever. Even if he is the best in the business, he's probably the least incompetent.
Strong win for Masvidal. He's won 3 straight now, and his only losses dating back to 2015 are split decisions. So this guy's been in every fight pretty much ever since he's been in the UFC. I think Masvidal, underrated, never been finished either. Oh no, he got finished. Oh, that's right. He got finished with that inverted triangle in Bellator. Remember that?
Yep.
Early year Bellator. That was the last time he got finished.
Who was the guy that tapped him out, though?
Toby Amada.
Yeah.
That was 2009. That was the last time he got finished.
Fair enough.
He's fought some good guys since then, too. He seems to have a home at welterweight. I don't know if he's in the mix. We'll say that.
Did Torrey Masvidal train with Greg Jackson at some point? I don't know why I was under the impression that he was.
I don't know. I can't tell you for sure.
I could be wrong. I don't know why. Like, it's not relevant in any way, but I just remembered that.
Francis Ngannou.
By the way, I'm just checking. According to Wikipedia, he fought for American Top Team, which is apparently where he currently fights, Freestyle Fighting Academy, and Fuck It Top Team.
Fuck It Top Team.
Fuck It? It's Phuket. I guess that's Fuck It.
Yeah.
Well, fuck it. All right. Well, that's a good name.
MMA, fuck it.
Yep.
Francis Ngannou knocked out Andrei Arlovski because it's Andrei Arlovski.
How did I predict Arlovski would win? I'm dumb.
Why would you predict Arlovski would win?
I don't know, dude.
Ngannou, the hottest heavyweight prospect of all time.
He's the Aaron Simpson of the heavyweight division.
I mean, he is 30. Can you call a guy who's 30 a prospect?
He's not a prospect, but I think he'll be good.
Sure, it's the heavyweight division. Like, all you have to do is be...
Yeah.
If you're mediocre, you can become champion.
Well, Tim Sylvia. Yeah, you're right.
Is Stipe Miocic good?
I might catch flack for this, but Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
It's not, don't get me wrong, I'm not a hater. I actually love Brock Lesnar.
You are a hater.
Dude, I love Brock Lesnar. What are you talking about?
You are a hater of Brock Lesnar, of the beast incarnate.
He's one of the best things that happened to MMA. But think about how limited... Like,
he's lucky he didn't have to fight Goldberg in MMA.
That's right. Are you done? Anyway, seriously, would any champion that limited, any fighter that limited, become a champion in a different division? Think about it. Brock Lesnar might be the most limited champion since, like, I don't know, Hoist Gracie or something. I'm probably exaggerating, by the way. And don't get me wrong, like, he knew what he was good at and maximized it. And we've talked about that, I think, in the past, where it's better to just really work on your strength and to just, like, if you're really terrible at a discipline, just try to make it, like, slightly below average while ignoring your strength is not necessarily a good idea. And I think we gave the Damian Maia example and Husamar Paharis and those guys. But actually, I think the best example would be Brock Lesnar. This is just an aside, but yeah. Anyway. So yeah, I think Stipe Miocic is good though. I think he's definitely not mediocre. I think you're being harsh.
Probably. Stipe Miocic just does nothing for me.
Oh, well, I agree, but he's a decent fighter.
He's fighting Junior Dos Santos at some point or another.
Junior Dos Santos is still a thing.
Dos Santos has a win over Miocic.
Yeah, I know. There was a time where, remember when we thought, and the whole narrative was the rebirth of the heavyweight division with Velasquez and Dos Santos and the rivalry for the ages? Of course, the rivalry for the ages lasted a year because they fought like 3 times within that span. But
I thought the rebirth was more like Kane, Carwin, and Brock.
Carwin, Brock, and Junior Dos Santos. Those 4 were supposed to be the guys. Then 2 of them retired pretty quickly.
And the other 2 fought each other
a lot, and that was it. The rebirth was done. The other and 2, I think Dos Santos fought Carwin, and at one point Velasquez was supposed to fight Carwin, right?
Dos Santos did fight Carwin when it was supposed to be Dos Santos and Lesnar.
Right? Yeah. And I think Velasquez was supposed to fight Carwin.
I think he was as well. But I remember they really didn't want to do that fight because because the 2 prospects. I think he was supposed to fight Carwin when he ended up fighting
either Rothwell or Congo.
Yeah, I think Rothwell. I don't think it was Congo because I don't remember who he was supposed to fight when he fought Congo, but I think it was. He was supposed to fight him at 104. Who did he fight at? Yeah, Rothwell. There you go.
Wrestling doesn't finish fights.
These finish fights. Who was Kane supposed to fight when he fought Congo? Let's look that up. Wasn't it some old guy?
Maybe it was just Czech Congo. Why would you assume there was a replacement?
It was Heath Herring. Because I knew there was a replacement. It was Heath Herring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I knew it was a replacement. That's why I assumed it was a replacement.
I remember being upset when Shane Carwin pulled out a UFC 104 because people were down on Cain Velasquez after the Congo fight. Remember, because like he supposedly has a weak chin because he got hit twice and whatever.
Yeah.
And my whole thing was I was just gonna be as unbearable as that. It was essentially my same shtick for the Velasquez-Lesnar fight, and I was going to do it for Velasquez-Carwin. And I remember being upset because I wanted to look like a genius by predicting Velasquez would win. Then I attempted that when Frank Mir fought Czech Congo, and I was for some reason convinced that Czech Congo would beat Frank Mir. It was UFC 107, I think.
Yeah, it was.
And Frank Mir ends up killing him.
Yeah, he knocked him down and then choked him out.
Yeah, and I didn't pick Congo to be a hipster. I legit was like secretly convinced, like, all right, this is my pick, and I'm gonna look like a genius.
Congo and the Diaz brothers.
I don't. Wait, you mean like me thinking of the joint as far as predicting their fights?
Right.
Yeah, I suck at predicting Diaz brother fights. That's definitely true.
Jason Knight beat Alex Caceres to avoid being the worst fighter in the UFC.
There you go. I told you on principle I could never pick Alex Caceres to win a fight.
Nate Marquardt lost as well, and that guy should not fight anymore.
That's unfortunate. Nate the Great.
He hasn't been great in a very long time.
I don't think he was ever great.
He was very good at one point.
He really was very good at some point. When he was, maybe he's still with Greg Jackson, I don't know. But at some point he was training with Greg Jackson. And
yeah, he still trains with that team.
And he put on like quite a few really good performances in a row. At one point he actually became dynamic, and he was this guy who was finishing fights as well.
His finish over Tyron Woodley was actually outstanding in Strikeforce. It was like elbows, spinning back fist and everything. It was pretty insane. Yeah.
It's like if you're just playing Undisputed and you just went nuts with all these like flashy strikes. I remember that.
Yeah. He had some good finish. I liked when he mind tricked Damian Maia into jumping into his right hand.
That was good. Was that finish you're talking about, the Tyron Woodley finish in Strikeforce? I remember. For some reason I thought that was. Didn't he have like another great finish in the UFC? I'm convinced he had a very similar finish in the UFC. Actually,
his recent fight against Tamden McCrory.
Oh no, something much.
Oh, older.
Older.
The Martin Camp or the Wilson Govea fight.
Yes, yes, he went nuts on Wilson Govea, kind of the same way he did on Tyron Woodley. I'm pretty sure against Wilson Govea, like he just went, like he started spinning and just threw knees and shit. He went nuts in that fight. Yeah, that's the stretch I was actually talking about. Like he finished Martin Kampman with strikes. He went nuts on Wilson Govea. He killed Damian Maia. And that's why I think like everybody had expected him to earn a rematch at Anderson Silva.
He's a choker.
But Chael Sonnen that's the thing. He fought Chael Sonnen and everybody thought like, all right, he'd win and get a rematch. And Chael Sonnen just wrestled the crap out of him. And yeah, Dana White called him a choker.
I think he called him a choker after the Okami fight.
When did he fight Okami? Yeah. It was after the Okami fight because it was another eliminator. Like, the winner would fight Silva again. And the idea was that, like, he just wins until, like a title shot is on the line and he loses. Although you can never win with Dana White because you can beat Kenny Florian and you actually win eliminators, but you don't win a title fight and you're also a choker. Whatever happened to just not being good enough? Why are you why is Nate Marquardt a choker for getting out-wrestled by Chael Sonnen? Maybe Nate Marquardt's wrestling is a weakness and Chael Sonnen is a really good offensive wrestler. Like, what's the problem with that? Or, even better yet, maybe Kenny Florian is not a choker and was just not as good as BJ Penn and Jose Aldo.
He won both of those fights.
Okay, I can get the Aldo choke, but he got choked out by BJ Penn. Does that even work? Or are you going to do a Rashad versus Jones thing and attempt to tell me why Kenny Florian won that fight?
Wasn't Rogan, wasn't he saying BJ was winning the majority, not BJ, Kenny winning the majority of that fight?
I actually remember that this was a narrative for some, for sure, who were claiming that Florian was winning that fight until he got choked out. I'm pretty sure it was
Chael versus Anderson all over again. He was going to win a unanimous decision, and he was a choker. He got choked.
I actually remember Randy Couture saying that Kenny Florian was winning that fight. That, for some reason, I distinctly remember that. Randy Couture said as much. I don't know that Rogan did, though.
I've only watched that. Oh, I watched it. That's a lie. I watched it twice. I was in the building, and then I watched the replay when we got home that night. But yeah, I don't remember the commentary.
I haven't seen it since.
Yeah, I don't remember the commentary for that fight. Kenny Florian's greatest contribution to MMA is 4 leg kicks.
Yep. That's a life bar. After the 4th leg kicks,
you can't walk anymore.
Kicks, your kick, your legs are just done. You can't walk anymore.
Yeah. That was UFC on Fox. Hell of a show.
That's right.
I don't know the rating, but I can't imagine it was good.
Now who's being a hater?
I'm hating on... What am I hating on? The fact that this card had, like, no names on it and no one watched it?
You're still being a hater.
Okay. I think you just want to call me a hater for the sake of calling me a hater.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm going to Google UFC on Fox 23 rating. 2.02 million viewers. That seems low.
No, look, nobody wants to tune in to watch Michael Jordan miss shots.
That's apparently the lowest ever.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
So, I'm looking. I guess so. I don't know. I can't read all these numbers and stuff.
Whatever.
There's another card this weekend.
Uh-huh.
And I think UFC dropped the ball with this one as well. Like, this Fox card wasn't good, and for Fox cards, you should always have something worthwhile on top. And we talked about how they just completely botched this whole Fox partnership. Remember when the Super Bowl weekend card was, like, good? Like, they tried to go out of their way to stack. It was always a pay-per-view, and they always wanted to, like, stack it with big names and everything.
And then Randy Couture fought Mark Coleman.
But that card, at first, like, that was actually a good card, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was, like, the ultimate injury curse phase.
Yeah.
Remember, because UFC went through a brutal stretch of injuries between late 2009 and early 2010. And then they got super hot. Then they had their best stretch ever in terms of pay-per-view buy rates. But, yeah, that was during a brutal stretch. But I'm trying to remember what was the original event.
They originally wanted a headline with Anderson against Vitor. That was the original plan, but it didn't happen.
No, that was for Abu Dhabi.
No. It says on here that a middleweight championship bout was supposed to happen at 109, but it was determined on Anderson's recovery from elbow surgery, and he didn't recover in time, and so then they pushed it, to Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
So they did want to go with that fight. They wanted to do, oh my god, they wanted to do Nogueira against Vera. That would have been a fight.
Which Nogueira?
Rogerio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what a big card.
I mean, if you get Anderson and Belfort, then that's a big fight. Come on now.
Yeah, that is definitely a big fight.
And they also wanted to do Henzo and Matt Hughes on this card. That got pushed back to Abu Dhabi.
Henzo and Matt Hughes, Randy Couture, Mark Coleman. Main event anywhere in the 90s.
What other bouts took place on Super Bowl weekend? Because I feel like there was like one that I'm just missing, and it was definitely... I think Edgar and Maynard 2 took place on Super Bowl weekend. Oh, you know which one I'm like really, really thinking of?
No.
St. Pierre and Penn.
Okay, that was huge.
Yeah. That one was Super Bowl weekend. And I think that's where it got like... And I think Chuck and Randy 2 might have been Super Bowl weekend as well. And so that's where the whole idea of, they want to stack Super Bowl weekend, because I mean, plenty of people go to Vegas to watch and bet on the Super Bowl, so it's a huge drawing card, and you should want to put on good fights. And yeah, now we're stuck with the Fight Night event.
I mean, the problem with MMA, the pay-per-view format in MMA is you can't beat WWE. You can't be, WrestleMania is always a big card, so we're going to try to put on the best main events. which apparently are John Cena against Randy Orton.
It was Liddell Couture 3. That was Super Bowl weekend. Go ahead.
Okay. Because injuries are a thing and scheduling is far more difficult. You have to factor in fighter recovery and stuff. So it's really hard to have like a standard yearly. Because I remember people did say that. Like at one point, like UFC should have like a.
Well, December has always been like they always want to stack December. And for the most part, I think they've actually done that almost every year.
I think December is like the easiest month to schedule for. You know what I mean? Because like if a fighter fights most top fighters are fighting twice a year. If we're talking champions, if they're healthy, so you can like if a fighter can fight in April, and you could go like if let's say I don't know like Conor McGregor could fight in April. And they might decide, like, okay, you're not fighting again until the December pay-per-view, and they'll schedule it accordingly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it becomes a bit easier to do that. But it's still hard. Like, I think it might be too late now, and I would have zero faith in the UFC actually promoting the idea correctly to end up establishing it. But it would have been fun if, like, the December pay-per-view, like, was, like, a standard thing and had, like, a name, like, sort of, like, basically it became their WrestleMania. But at the same time, you're still taking an unnecessary risk because what if a fighter gets hurt really close to the event and you're supposed to schedule a late replacement and then it becomes like, haha, WrestleMania is headlined by, so some guy against some late replacement. So that's why you can't really do it.
Probably better than the WrestleManias they've had recently.
I agree. And the WrestleMania they're about to have, especially with Randy Orton going to WrestleMania and John Cena being a champion.
Yeah, that's not the headline match.
What is the headline match?
Goldberg and Brock.
You're serious?
I would be very surprised if that doesn't headline.
Is that confirmed, first of all? Like, are they seriously fighting at WrestleMania?
Yeah, well, on Monday, Brock challenged him to a WrestleMania match.
So yeah, that's what they're doing.
The only issue is it might not headline if it's not for a title, because Triple H's theory has always been you have to headline WrestleMania with the title match.
Was Michaels and Undertaker a title match? The rematch? I don't think it was.
Yeah, that was the one time he didn't want to headline because the year before, remember, he headlined with Orton over Orton Michaels and Undertaker, and he realized, oh shit, that was a fucking mistake.
That was not a mistake, all right? Opening the main event with a bunch of RKOs and pedigrees to follow that was the best idea ever. What a great match that was.
But they might put the title on Goldberg this month, and so it would be a title match.
Wait, are you serious?
That's the rumor. I'm just telling you what the rumors say.
Goldberg's going to become WWE champion?
And Bray Wyatt is going to win the title from Cena in Elimination Chamber, and that's why Orton and Bray would headline, or be the other title match, not Orton and Cena.
So why did Cena have to beat AJ Styles then?
Because he's the all-time GOAT. Can't have this punk indie.
Right into that goddamn answer. Stop.
Can't have this punk indie kid coming in here beating John Cena 3 times.
And why is Bray Wyatt going to become the champion? Like, they're high on him now. They want to push him.
I have no clue.
But you seem pretty adamant that, yeah, Bray Wyatt is winning the Elimination Chamber.
That's just, I mean, that's what pretty much every legitimate news source is saying. So I'm just going with that. I really don't think they're going to do Orton and Cena. But now they probably will. They can't be that dumb. They really can't.
Wyatt and Orton?
It's better than Orton and Cena.
I agree. Not in terms of match quality. I think Orton and Cena would actually put on a better match. But
This WrestleMania card legitimately looks terrible from top to bottom. It's Orton and Bray, Goldberg and Brock, Rollins and Triple H, which might not be bad, except Triple H will want to have this like 1 hour classic, and those
right.
always tend to suck. Roman Reigns against The Undertaker is gonna be god awful. And I like Roman Reigns.
Wait, you like Roman Reigns?
I don't like his character and the push they give him. I think he's perfectly fine in the ring. I think he's actually good in the ring. Like, he has really good matches, and people just don't want to give him credit.
Hulk Hogan, John Cena, and Roman Reigns. The fuck is wrong with you?
Roman Reigns has good matches. People just don't want to give him credit for those matches.
Look, I don't think he's a bad guy. We haven't made that joke in a while. Is that still a thing? Is he still saying that?
Yeah, he is still saying that. He said it in the lead up to his match with Kevin Owens this past Sunday.
Oh my god, he's seriously still doing the I am the guy thing?
Yeah, he said, you're the champion, but you're not the guy.
Didn't he start doing that after WrestleMania last year?
Yeah.
Did that stick around seriously for almost a fucking year?
Yeah. Why shouldn't it have?
Because it got old 2 weeks into... I swear I remember how everybody was ranting about how old it got 2 weeks into the thing. Like, okay, first time he said it after WrestleMania, I was like, alright. And then he just repeated it. And then everybody was making fun of it.
Well, he's still the guy, despite people making fun of it.
You know who should use that?
Who?
LeBron James.
I'd be fine with that. He's the king, though.
LeBron James is starting to annoy me this year.
LeBron, LeBron doesn't like Charles Barkley.
Like, he absolutely flat out roasted him, but none of that has anything to do with Barkley's points, though. Like, that was the very definition of an ad hominem attack. Like, and I've heard exactly what Barkley said. It was pretty fair. He
called him a whiner.
He just said, no, he said his words came off whiny. He didn't say LeBron is a whiner. And I think there's a big difference. The only part that was like, I don't know, is he said, like, LeBron doesn't want to compete. I mean... That's
why he stayed in the East all those times.
Look, there is, like, okay, I mean, sure, he went to Miami with Bosh and Wade, and then he went back to Cleveland, bought Kyrie and Kevin Love and whatever. But the dude is about to come up against a team that have Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. Like, I think Kevin Durant doesn't want to compete, if you're going to talk about that. But for LeBron to bring up Barkley's past like that, and does Barkley really hate on LeBron, though? That's the part that really, like, dude, every time I hear Barkley talk, it's like, it's an honor and a privilege to watch LeBron James play. I never thought I'd compare anybody to Michael Jordan, but LeBron this and LeBron that. Like, he's always showering him with praise.
I think I'm fine. He went probably a little too far, but Barkley's not good at his job.
Oh, Barkley's awful. Like, he's funny. I like him. He's entertaining. But his takes are mostly garbage. Like, but if somebody's going to complain about Barkley being a flat-out hater, it should be the Warriors.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Warriors, he is just a flat-out hater. Like, his takes are awful. They make no sense. But, I mean, whatever. When I say LeBron started to bother me, for the record, LeBron's bothered me his entire career. But
we wanted to root for him this year.
We're rooting for him this year because fuck the Warriors and Kevin Durant. So, I guess we should talk MMA, though. We've been talking about wrestling and NBA for the past, I don't know.
Because that's interesting. Dennis Bermudez against the Korean Zombie headlines this Fight Night card on Saturday.
Oh, before. Oh, Jesus! I wasn't even aware of that. God, that's brutal. Before you get into that, I have one question. What's less predictable? Which fight is going to headline WrestleMania, or which game is going to headline the NBA championship this year?
Oh, the NBA is far. Oh no, the WWE is far less predictable.
Right. Yeah. So, like Warriors and Cavs is more of a foregone conclusion than Bray and Orton.
Yeah, I don't know what's headlining WrestleMania 2 months from the event. I knew what was headlining the finals in July.
Fair enough.
Dennis Bermudez and the Korean Zombie. I think Bermudez
Korean
wins.
Zombie's back. That's cool. At least that's good news.
Yeah. He hasn't fought since August 2013, and he's been in the military, and I don't know how good he is at this point. He's only 29, though. He's still young.
Military makes you tough. What are you talking about?
Sure.
Could Korean Zombie be denied access to the U.S. because, like, somebody, like the border control thing, like, I don't know, airport security or something, think he's North Korean? And
They're
Trump
holding this event in Houston, the same place as the Super Bowl.
That's smart. Smart business.
I mean, it is until they, like, go to this event and they're like, why did we waste our money on this shit?
Oh, by the way, did you know that Gegard Mousasi was apparently denied access to the U.S. and he has like issues getting a visa?
Yeah, I saw that.
Due to Trump's executive. I like that how somebody. I was reading a Twitter back and forth, and somebody was legitimately saying like, "Oh, Dana could just call Trump and they'll solve it out." Like, I mean, I know they're friends and all, but can Dana really call the president and go, "Yeah, Gegard Mousasi"? And I just try to imagine Trump going like, Gegard who? Like, that's Mousasi. Like, and Trump's just going to be like, yeah, all right, like, allow that guy in or something? I don't know.
I like how Dana now determines if people get in and out of the country.
Dude, Dana's got power now.
I mean, I think he's always had power.
Imagine if his friend Abdullah is going to corner him. If Mousasi brought in his friend Abdullah to corner him, he's fucked. Yeah, he's not entering the United States. Let's be serious.
Is Korean Zombie going to win this fight?
Who's he fighting against? Oh, Dennis Bermudez? No, he's not. I mean, normally I would say yes, but he hasn't fought in a long time.
Yeah, I don't think highly of Dennis Bermudez. It's clearly a fight they're giving Korean Zombie because Bermudez is he's not a favorable matchup, but he's a guy who will go out there and kind of trade with him. Even though Bermudez is typically a wrestler, I guess they feel Korean Zombie can kind of keep it on the feet and maybe tag him up. I don't know.
Normally, I really would pick Korean Zombie to beat him.
I think I would too. Dennis Bermudez currently holds the world record for the fastest time to drink 1 liter of lemon juice through a straw. Well, that settles it. I'm picking Dennis Bermudez.
What's the world record, though? Like, how much did it take him?
I'm going to world record for drinking lemon juice through a straw. Got to be specific here.
That's a hell of a record to hold.
One liter of lemon juice in 22.75 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think he's winning this fight. That's enough for me to pick against him.
He's a world record holder. How many other UFC people can say that?
That's a good
point.
Why
isn't more made of this? Everyone wants to talk about Ronda Rousey and her Olympic. She didn't even get gold. Who gives a fuck?
Fair enough.
I think more people should make a big deal out of Dennis Bermudez holding the world record for drinking 1 liter of lemon juice through a straw.
if Mike Goldberg was commentating this event, he would be bringing that up every second.
As he should. As he should. Former interim UFC light heavyweight championship challenger Ovince St. Preux is also on this card. He'll beat Volkan Ozdemir, whoever that is.
Can't wait.
And there's some other fights. No one cares. What a terrible card. Don't watch this card on your Saturday night. Do something else.
Agreed.
Do you want to preview the Super Bowl? You promised the people you were going to preview the Super Bowl.
Lord Tom Brady will spell doom and gloom on the city of Atlanta. He is going to go ham like nobody's ever gone ham before. Lord Tom Brady, the all-time GOAT, will channel football. His inner... You just ruined everything. Fuck you.
He'll channel something.
Nope, I'm not doing this anymore. You interrupted me by making an implicit reference to John Cena.
You don't know it's for John Cena. It could have been Anderson Silva, Michael Jordan, Russell Westbrook.
Nope. It's definitely not Russell Westbrook. And it definitely was John Cena, because here's a fun story.
It was Anderson Silva. This is an MMA podcast.
It was John Cena. We talk more about wrestling than MMA on this podcast. At least today. Or at least more passionately. So a couple nights ago, I was contemplating watching the Royal Rumble. I like how he's laughing already. I don't watch wrestling
because
anymore.
my jokes are hilarious to me. In case no one has figured that out.
I'm glad you specified that they're hilarious to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was contemplating watching the Rumble. I typically just watch WrestleMania, but I have a special place in my heart for the Rumble. And I saw the card, and I was excited for AJ Styles against John Cena, but everybody apparently thought Cena would win, so that kind of bothered me. Anyway, I got pretty sleepy, and I went to bed. My phone was on silent, but I wake up in the middle of the night because it kept vibrating with alarming frequency. Not enough frequency to where it would have sounded like it's ringing, but as if like somebody was texting me frantically, which turns out to be the case. And I look at my phone, and I keep receiving this text over and over and over again. The text just kept saying 16 times, 16 times, 16 times, 16 times. And at first I was like, what the fuck is going on? But in the middle of my sleep, I realized that this idiot on the other side of this podcast is celebrating John Cena's title win. Because he's a fucking mark.
I had to make sure you knew that John Cena was a 16-time champion. Just wait till he wins it for the 17th time later this year, and he breaks the record.
You disgust me sometimes.
John Cena's about to kick off SmackDown. We got to wrap this podcast up so I can see the all-time GOAT in wrestling, not football, do his thing and cut his promo and bury everyone else around him because no one else is as good as John Cena.
I saw somebody on Twitter call him the greatest American wrestler of all time.
That's not true at all.
Oh, So you are admitting to that at least.
Yes, I don't think he's the greatest American wrestler of all time. I just think he's the greatest wrestler of all time. There's no need to put American in there.
Like I said, you discussed.
How did you not see that coming?
Because I thought maybe there's a bit of rationality in you. Okay, just to be clear, this is honestly not as funny as you're making it sound. The fact that you're laughing this hard, oh my god, this is a terrible podcast. How are we still not? How have you not been thrown off the air? Honestly,
it was funnier just the fact that you didn't see that one coming. That's why I'm laughing so hard. I told you I find my own jokes so amusing.
Oh no, you don't say.
What else my one-word preview for the Super Bowl. Can you guess what that word is?
Blowout.
Blowout. The Patriots will be fine. They have the John Cena of football, and they will win.
Rob Gronkowski? He's not playing.
Bill Belichick is who I was actually talking about.
Bill Belichick is who's the wrestling equivalent of Bill Belichick? Not Vince McMahon.
Paul Heyman?
Bill Belichick is infinitely more successful than anybody in wrestling, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's any manager or that's really
Paul
the only
Heyman, his company ran out of business and he doesn't cheat enough.
I was just looking at that's true actually. I was just looking at Bobby Heenan, maybe? Bobby Heenan
Bobby Heenan.
Probably the best manager of all time.
And he cheats enough.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe Bobby Heenan.
I don't think he won enough though. Like how many champions did he have?
Didn't he manage Ric Flair?
Not in WCW. He may have in WWE, but that was only like one title reign.
Oh, okay.
He managed Andre, but Andre never really won the title. Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart always managed Hulk Hogan.
Bill Belichick might be as obnoxious as Jimmy Hart. Tom Brady's going to go ham. That's my prediction. That is the extent of my football knowledge. I
expect your stats on Sunday afternoon.
Of course. My stats, you have to admit that for somebody that only watches one team of football and just started doing it last season and sometimes even misses their games, my Brady prediction stats are remarkably accurate.
That is very true.
And I send them before the game.
That is true. I can confirm that.
Thank you. I'm saving the best for last. Although my Super Bowl predictions for the past couple of years have not been too accurate. I remember it's like the I kept saying like Seattle Seahawks have this easily a couple of years ago against the Patriots. That was before I became a Patriots fan. And
which shows how long you've been a Patriots fan.
I just said, like, I've only been watching them for the past 2 seasons. And more importantly, I insisted that the great Carolina Panthers would blow out the Denver Broncos last year.
Yeah, you were spot on with that.
That's right. But third time's a charm. Hey, even Michael Jordan missed shots.
We'll be back next week to maybe talk about this UFC card. Nobody's watching this fucking thing.
Is there a card to preview next week? Because if all we'll be doing is review this, then it's going to be like a 15-minute podcast.
Well, I was getting there if you didn't cut me off.
Oh, sorry.
And we'll preview UFC 208, headlined by another fucking title fight. But Anderson Silva's on this card. And so is Jacare. So that's cool.
Wait, the title fight is Holly Holm?
Yeah.
Who's Anderson fighting again?
Derek Brunson.
I don't care. I like Anderson. I'll get excited for Anderson.
Yeah, you got to get excited for Anderson, even if it is Derek Brunson.
And even if he is 40.
And even if he might get knocked out viciously.
Sadly, that is true.
And Jacare's on the card. It's always easy to get excited for Jacare.
I like Jacare. Is Anderson, is he going to be able to wear black and yellow trunks now or not?
I would think so.
What was he wearing for UFC 200? I'm trying to remember that.
Did they have colors at UFC 200?
Well, the map was colored. You know what bothered me recently? BJ Penn's trunks. Because he also had awesome trunks. Remember the black belt trunks that he used to wear?
Yeah. Yeah, Anderson wore black and yellow at 200.
Okay.
Yeah, that UFC, that fight against Bisping, those fucking trunks.
There was a lot wrong with that fight.
There really was. All right, so
anyway,
we'll be back next week to not review a card and preview a card. We'll review the Super Bowl, where Sammer celebrates or is miserable. One or the other.
That's right. But if the Patriots win, I'm going to be more unbearable than Patriot fans?
Yeah,
that's a bit hard.
Fair. No, that's fair. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next time right back here on the podcast.